does everyone seem to dislike Surge? Let's talk about it. In my opinion, out of all the new characters introduced in the IDW series, Surge is the most misinterpreted. Every bad quality people do not like about her, the cockiness, the stubbornness, is done deliberately. I feel like a lot of people sweep under the notion of her being a trauma victim. And yes, even before Starlight, because she was a victim of Eggman's control over the entire planet. And the moment that ended, where she could have had salvation, she gets kidnapped and mind controlled. All those signs of cockiness is her finally feeling like she has control over a situation. When she doesn't, she crashes out, and you can see it. Let's start with her introduction. Personally, her modeling over Sonic is just not complete because Dr. Starlight does not know Sonic like that, at least on a personal level. Most of the information he got from his side products based off Eggman's interactions with Sonic. So him modeling a character off someone he doesn't know, she's not going to end up being like that person. Later on, we find out that their minds constantly get rewired purposely to hate Sonic. And any sorts of independence Surge was looking for, even notions of her past, Starlight would shut down. This series all ends up with our fight with Metal Sonic, where she deems him a worthy challenge. And I don't think it's just on a physical sense, also a mental/psychological sense. This is a battle of two beings modeled after Sonic. This is her chance to prove that she has purpose. You can see this as she tries to rationalize this by telling that Metal is the fake out of the two. But once she starts getting overwhelmed and overcome, that confidence wavers. Her belittling Metal here is not just to belittle him, it's to reinsure herself and her purpose in life. Then we get to issue 50, where she's not just fighting another clone of Sonic. Finally faces Sonic himself. And remember, to her, everything that ever went wrong in her life is because of Sonic. It's because of his lighthearted nature that she was tortured. In her eyes. In another sense, in her eyes, Sonic is the chains that bind her from freedom. We pick up this fact specifically through this speech of Sonic noting that you're already free, but she does not feel like that because he still lives and breathes. Further along in this fight, we learn that Surge is truly alone. Further, she pushes that notion that Sonic is her chains. But the loss crushed her confidence in all that cockiness. Until she got a power up, until she felt like she could be in control again. You see this, how she manhandles Eggman. She could have murked him off here, but didn't because again, she feels like she's in control of the situation. Just to later, again, have all her confidence shattered right in front of her face. By who? Sonic. Surge, this entire comic is not just fighting for her life physically, but also metaphorically. She wants purpose, and yet she cannot find it. This scene verbatim pushes my point to the T. This scene finally solidifies to Surge that she is not alone anymore. In the darkness, the one person that was there for her was Kit. You can see the personality change. She's lighthearted, she's kind and kindred when it comes to Kit, but when it comes to anybody else, it's that savagery. And later on, her very battle of ideals gets challenged directly by the person she sees as an issue. Sonic is telling her she has freedom. You can leave whenever. I can't. I was built to live in your shadow, Sonic. I cannot be my own individual with you alive. You know that's not true. Her character develops astronomically so as the series goes on, even to the most recent issue. This entire arc, she's been building on her own independence. Even when Sonic does a thing where he interjects to try to make people better, Surge is not with that shit and ends up clapping up all her opposition. And this, again, just not as a physical thing. Take it on a metaphorical note. Every one of these has a different ideal. Every one of these bounded Surge to one type of way. And she finally had the freedom, the independence to shut them all down. Surge is finally finding new purpose in her life. She's finally finding that independence she sought for so long. And she's doing it without the direct intervention of Sonic trying to become friends with her. I see her being akin to Eggman, where she stays on that antagonistic role, but when a greater evil shows up, she'll help Sonic in the long run. Oh no, I believe Surge is one of the best written Sonic characters of all time, even in the games. And I feel like all the hate that she gets is a little too much. It's undeserved. One thing I would actually like for Surge in the future is for her to find her own group completely separated from Sonic in the game, where she can actually develop independence in terms of her character. And then every once in a while have her come in to help Sonic or help her come in to fight Sonic, etc, etc. Surge speaks, I'll sleep it on her.